Hey gals and guys, I'm the woman behind Armoured Brownies and I'm back with another sculpt. This is probably the sculpt I'm the most proud of so far. This was done as a paid commission for the Minimen, a little people talent agency, and probably the best dwarves in the world, as their card states. Hopefully that adds some credence to any advice I give, since technically I'm a professional, but also I like to think that my work does speak for itself. Also, stay tuned to the channel after this video to see the mould making and painting of the finished work. The brief was a Harry Potter-esque Gringotts Goblin, though something with a little more character that they could call their own. So far, you've watched me put down the foundation of the sculpt on the armature, bulking out the nose and building up the cheekbones and jowls. This sculpt was another learning experience for me, as getting the nose correct, how the nostril sits compared to the bridge and how it interacts with the jowls around the cheeks, in this over-exaggerated way really helped me understand how to do a more realistic style of anatomy. And I know how that sounds coming from a goblin sculpt. Once again, the lips really tripped me up, trying to get them to be subtle enough in the face while still having a different texture and presenting properly. However, getting the whole mouth area correct turned out to be easier than I thought it might, since they have this nasty scowl on them that I could hide any failure of anatomy behind the expression. So long as it gave the overall correct look and feel, the eyes will sort of miss when they see the whole thing together. You can see me building up the mouth, cutting it down with sculpting tools and then building it up again, trying to get it just right, each time laying down a little bit more clay in the right places and cutting away what I don't like. The same goes for the cheeks and the rest of the face that I slowly bring into the sculpt, adding lines and details and basically organic greebling and texture. Once the overall face was sitting nicely, I started looking at more related references like elderly people, other goblin artwork, and some prize-winning gurners. This gave me more ideas for realistic anatomy, so I could make sure I wasn't overbalancing any part of the sculpt, and I ended up just copying what I saw for the cheeks and brow. Now I started to build up the ears. I've spoken about ears before, and here they're not that different in what structures you need to build up, and once again I'll say how I think ears are really counterintuitive to how they look and feel. Using human anatomy structures, just elongated and drawn out, helped get what I think was a realistic look, but of course it was a few attempts of cutting shapes, building up ridges and smoothing out for me to actually find the shape in there. Now it's starting to look pretty finished, so it's texturing time. Here I start making sure every part of the sculpted anatomy has a pleasant and appropriate texture, as well as adding wrinkles and highlights to the ridges and pores and dimples to disguise where two anatomical structures meet. Things like the outside of the ears need to be smooth with less texture on them, but around the mouth, cheeks and brows want more details. And what would a horrid monster be without warts? I did the warts simply by taking a small piece of clay, rolling it in the ball in the palm of my hand, cutting it in half with a tool and pressing it lightly, cut side against damp clay. This is the same way I did it for Two-Face. Then you just go around the base with a sculpting tool to make sure they stick and the join is sealed. Originally I planned on doing this as several different moulds, one for the face and one for each ear, mounting the ears and face on a painted balaclava, as I didn't trust my mould making skills to do it as one large two-piece mould, hence not sculpting the back of the head. But here you can see me going over the back of the head to fill out the detail and texturing over the whole thing, as I decided I'm going to give it a go. I've not done a two-part plaster mould before, and never done a mould for anything this ambitious, so you can join me in the next video to see how it went. Thanks for watching. Please remember, if this helped you or was just interesting, like, comment, subscribe, and don't be afraid to try it for yourself. Bye!